Welcome back to the show. We've been covering the vetting process that's happening in Parliament. A bit of technical hitches there, but we'll be going over to Parliament to pick some reaction from that vetting. The vetting of Aviation Minister designates that's ongoing. She's been talking so far. She's been made to answer questions about treatment of Ghanaians at, say, Terminal 3 at Heathrow Airport in London, what she or her ministry can and intends to do about it. She's also been talking about cost of travel, duration of travel, and competition among the airlines, and the quality of service provided. A lot more on that will bring you in our subsequent bulletins. But Joseph Opoku Gakpo is standing by in Parliament to bring us the reaction. At this point, though, let's touch on a very important national issue: deaths on our roads. Now, this year, the National Road Safety Commission is rolling out aggressive measures to deal with the rapidly rising road safety concerns in the country. Last year, the road safety figures have caused officials at the commission to be concerned. In response, several measures, including introduction of spot fines, are being introduced to deal with the problem. They've joined me in the studio later on, but first let's deal with the current road accident cases on our hand. Just about last week in Kintampo in the Bunahafo region, 6 people died, and just over the weekend, about 3 of them also died. They were responding to treatment in the hospital. On Friday, the injured, I would say, are still in hospital, about 30 of them. But we can get an update on the investigations into this matter. Our Bunahafo regional correspondent Anas Sabi joins us on the line. Hello, Anas. Okay, it appears that... Hello, Anas, can you hear me? Okay, it appears that we've lost Anas, but we'll try and raise him back on the telephone line so we get an update on how the 30 other people who were injured on this road are doing. But like I said, the Road Safety Commission has joined us in the studio. Henry Asumeni is Projects Coordinator at the National Road Safety Commission. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And many thanks for joining us. Now, we're just going to get an update on what's happening, what has happened with people who were involved in an accident on the Kintampo Road just about last week. And 6 of them died. 3 others died over the weekend. Yeah. And that, of course, is alarming. We're looking at 9. If you can refresh our memories on the statistics that you put out earlier this year about the rates of carnage on our roads, we'll be grateful for that before I start.
Thank you very much. I must say that 2016, when it comes to road safety issues, was a very bad year. And we recorded as much as 2,198 people dying through road traffic accidents.
Okay. If I could hold you briefly there, I'll come back to you. We've got Anas on the line now. Hello, Anas.
Hello.
Anas, bring us to speed on the accident that happened. I think this was last week. We know that 6 people died, and then later on, 3 others died as well, making the number 9. 30 of them are supposed to be in hospital, receiving and responding to treatments. What has become of that?
Yeah, like you said, about 30 of them 33 were admitted at the Churchman Holy Family Hospital after the accident. But that was after 6 had already died, 5 on the spot, and then 1 when they got to the hospital. So out of the 33, 3 also died this Sunday, that is on Sunday, leaving 30, and out of the 30, 14 have been, discharged, leaving 16. And from the 16, we know that one of the drivers of the truck carrying the tomato heading up north has also been transferred to the Konfano Teaching Hospital due to how severe his condition is. So I can say that we have about 15 currently on admission here in Kisiman responding to treatment.
Okay. What we do know, by the way, is that the driver died. The driver of the vehicle died. But then he was not driving at the time. If you could bring us, refresh our memory on what exactly happened, according to the police.
Basically, we know that that particular tomato truck had about 5 persons on board, and we know the substantive driver of the vehicle was the passenger side when the accident happened. He allowed his mate to be in charge. From what we know, he felt stressed, and so he allowed the mate, the supposed mate of the vehicle to be in charge. So the main driver of the vehicle is the one I'm talking about, who is in critical condition now. That is on admission at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. He's been referred to the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. The mate died on the spot, and from what we know, he was buried on Friday. That was a very faithful day. He passed on. He is a Muslim, and his body was given out to the family members who I witnessed the burial on Friday. And what actually caused the accident is we were told the truck had one of its tires bursting, and so at a high speed, the driver couldn't hold onto the vehicle. He lost control, and then this particular truck was also traveling down south from Bolgatanga, the Upper Regional capital. So the collision was so severe. Both cars, damaged beyond recognition. When you get there, it's quite bad. And
Anas, what I'd like for you to touch on for us, just so we take the conversation forward, is the nature of the road. And we've spoken about this before, but right now that we've got the Road Safety Commission in the studio, it would be good for us to refresh our memories once again about the nature of the road, because last year, just around the same time, a similar accident happened at that place and at the same spot. Is that correct?
That's right.
Right. So let's talk us through the nature of this road and what the road safety people in the region have been saying about these series of accidents.
I had several interactions with the Road Safety Commission here, as well as the MCTG boss for Kechiman, who has been on the scene. And what they've been telling me, from my observation, the road is okay because it's a new road that has been constructed between Kechiman and Kintampo. I spoke with the MCTG commander, and he told me per his assessment he sees nothing wrong with the road, except that the users, when he talked about the users, he's referring to the drivers. He says they have been driving carelessly because of how smooth the road is. And this same point he's talking about is a slope away from Bonomanso. So it's not in the township where you could request for the introduction of bumpings or speed jumps to minimize safety. It's outside. So there's no way they could construct speed jumps, etc. And so according to him, he sees no problem with the road or the nature of the road or the construction, but the problem has to do with the users of the road, which includes the drivers and how they've been speeding along the road. And he advised if there will be a reduction of speed when drivers get to such areas, it will be of good help. I asked him whether we have enough road signs on the road, especially where we have recorded this same accident last year and this year. And he told me, yes, we have, except that as time goes on, some of them might, be out of place. And so he called on the Ghana Highway to be on alert and then try to fix some of these road signs that are no more on the road.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anas. Anas Abit is our Bunahafo regional correspondent, bringing us up to speed on that accident that happened on Kintampo. And mind you, a similar one had happened last year. Rich Kudunako is our central regional correspondent. I'll be engaging him so that we can get all of these details and throw it at the Road Safety Commission person who's in the studio with me. Richard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Briefly tell us what the situation is in the central region as far as road carnage is concerned.
Well, in the central region, not a week passes without us witnessing accidents here. And most of the accidents occur on the Cape Coast Winneba Accra Highway. You could see that, if you travel along that stretch, at certain point or vantage point, they place there 22 people died here, 8 people died here, 20 people died here for drivers to exercise some restraint and some caution when they are driving on the road. But all of these things do not deter the drivers. And so you see wrongful overtaking, you see a vehicle going beyond the speed limit that they are expected to go, and it results in an accident. A point that has been witnessed in some of these accidents is the Akochi Junction. The Akochi Junction, if you are traveling from Accra to Cape Coast, the Akochi main township is on your left, and then Aguna Kunyaku Road, it's an intersection, and that road is on your right. and then facing you is Cape Coast and your back is Accra. Now, when the drivers get there, they do not, or they fail to recognize that that place is an intersection and any vehicle could move from any of these places to that point. And so the resultant effect is that there are a lot of accidents on this particular stretch of the road. And there are a lot of pedestrian knockdowns too. So in the communities, various communities, they've been clamoring for speed ramps to be constructed, and the Ghana Highway Authority has been doing that. So if you used to travel on the Cape Coast Takoradi Accra Highway, hitherto it wasn't like that, but now speed ramps are being constructed so as for the drivers to limit their speed on this particular stretch of road. And you go to the Winnipeg Trauma and Accident Center, I mean, sometimes they're overwhelmed with the cases. Most of the materials they have to work with. I mean, because of the number of accidents that happen along that stretch, they run or they short some of these materials that they are expected to work. So the carnage on the road, and remember, this particular road has also been witnessing a lot of pedestrian knockdowns.
Yeah.
Vehicles knock people that are standing close by, people that are also crossing the street. You remember the Kaswa interchange that has been constructed. I mean, people are clamoring that they should do something underneath the road so that the pedestrians will walk or will take that path instead of crossing the road, and that has been the situation. So the stakeholders met somewhere 2 weeks ago, and they are going to suggest these things to the authorities so that they could revise their notes, and then instead of creating overheads that will cost that much, they can also do some underneath the road so that people could use that stretch.
Okay, thank you very much. Richard Kajunako is our Central Regional Correspondent. So it gives you an idea of what's happening in the Bono-Ahafo region and in the Central region, but that's just because there have been recent accidents in these places where a number of people have died. So we use that to refresh your memory. But you know that this is not limited to the Greater Accra in the Bono-Ahafo region.
Yes.
On the motorway, I have seen at the beginning, in January, at the beginning of the year, seen not less than 5 accidents on the motorway. But we are told also that the Road Safety Commission is putting in place all sorts of initiatives to reduce the carnage on our roads. What is it that it's not working, or is it that you're not implementing the initiatives the right way?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I listened to your correspondence on the roads, and then I must say, yes, these are happening on the roads. But some of the things that you realize listening to even your correspondence is that it is the major issue is about the road users. When I say road users, I mean drivers and pedestrians, everybody who is using the road. That's a major issue. It means, what do I mean? It means that we, those using the road, are we using it rightly? Because the road, as the MCTU commander in Techiman said, the road is good. It's a new road. All markings are on it, all signages are on it. So why do we still involve and get accidents there?
Are good roads the only way to stop accidents?
No,
because you can still
I'm
have...
coming to that. I'm coming there. I'm just building it. So you see, so we come to the road user himself, me and you. We use the road. So how are we using the road? Are we using the road in the right way or in the wrong way? If you're using it the wrong way, then it means that somebody would have to, one, educate us on how to use the road. Right. And this is one thing that the Commission with its stakeholders have been doing over the years. Even Joy has been giving us their platform to do some of these campaigns. And we've been educating the drivers, we've been talking to the drivers, we've been talking to the pedestrians, talking to cyclists, motorcyclists, almost all road users.
Is it working?
You see, they say to change an attitude, it means that the person would have to hear it over and over again, and the person should also know that if I don't comply, there's a consequence.
Are there any consequences?
Yes, there are consequences if you don't apply, if you don't do them as you are supposed to. So what are we doing now? Now we've seen that we've done a lot of education. People are aware. I'm sure people are aware of how to use the road. People are aware of the speed limits on the road. People are aware of where to cross the roads. But sometimes, maybe because the enforcement is lacking, people are reluctant to do it because he feels that, I'm moving from Techiman.
There's nothing to lose.
I'm moving from Techiman to Kintampo. If the road is very good, if I do it in 120 kilometers per hour, I'll get there in about 30 minutes. If I do it 80 kilometers per hour and then 50 where I'm supposed to go 50, I'll get there in 45 minutes. I'll lose 15 minutes. So if I speed, I'll gain 15 minutes. So that is how they think.
Okay.
Not knowing, realizing that as soon as they speed up, they put themselves at risk.
Right. My interest, and I believe the interest of most Ghanaians and people who are watching, is to find out whether or not the initiatives that you put together, and you were going through the statistics when you started, the statistics for this year, you said 2016 was a very bad year for road safety.
Yes.
And you can go through the...
You see, that is something that 2016 was an election year. And
so you could go through the statistics for us again.
Okay.
But what I believe a lot of people are interested in, I am interested in as a driver, is whether or not the initiatives you say you're putting in place are working. Okay. If they are, why are we still recording carnages? If they're not, what are you going to do about it to make sure that they're effective?
Okay, thank you. Then when I go through a statistic, you realize that 2016 was an election year, and every election year we record higher road traffic casualties, because people move around a lot in election years. So if I would compare 2016 to 2012, because it was an election year. In 2012 we had more than 2,000 people dying. That was 2,240 people dying. In 2016 we had 2,198 people dying. If you are in between 2012 and 2016, in 2013 we had 1,898 people. Then in 2014 it went down to 1,836. In 2015 it went down to 1,802, and we were going down steadily. And we're hoping that in 2016 we would be able to push it further down so that we make gains. And
but that did not happen.
Yes, that did not happen.
Why?
Because as I have said, we have, when it comes to the road environment, there are three things you look at: the road, the vehicle, and then the road user. And these are the three things that come together that a crash can come. And research shows that about 90% of all crashes on our roads in Ghana are caused by road users.
So how is the Commission addressing this, and how is it doing so effectively?
Thank you. You see, the Commission does not work alone. We work with our stakeholders. And when our stakeholders, we mean the police, the road engineers, the media. Everybody should come on board. This year, some of the things that we initiated it a while ago, but you see, sometimes you initiate something, it goes through procedure. So it has gone through procedure, but I can say on fact that this year, the spot fine regulation will be implemented. So it has not been implemented. I was under the impression that it has already been implemented. The law has been passed. The law was passed in 2012. But for implementation, you have to see how you would want to implement it such that it is effective. And to do that, you need to do, sometimes you have to do a feasibility study to see the situation and those things. So it's taking more than 3 years to execute or to implement that law? Yes, but I must say in this year we are going to implement. Give me a specific dates, please. As of now, we've gotten far. I know that is a language of the government. Far is far. Yes, but specific date is a specific date. Give me that. Why I can give you a range, but I can't give you a specific date. What's the range? The range is that by the second quarter of this year, by the end of the second quarter of this year, the spot fine regulation will be implemented. And it's starting in Accra? Across the country? This is not something that you can just pilot in Accra. Which is why it's taking you a very long time to put it together. It's something that you can't say, if I am in Accra, I can be spot fined. But if I'm in Kumasi, I cannot be spot fined. So it's a nationwide thing. It's a nationwide thing. But what we are going to do is that we are going to pick the major highways, the major roads. These roads that record a lot of fatalities, like the Techiman Kintampo, like Accra Cape Coast. These roads are one of them that would first have the spot fine being implemented on. Okay. You spoke about speed camera, and we've engaged the road safety this year. You spoke about speed cameras. How are you going to, when are you going to start that one as well? That one as well, it will come together with the spot fine. With the spot fine? Yes. And I'm sure very soon you'll see the first speed camera being installed on our roads. Where? Where I can't say because it won't be one place, but you'll see. But I know for a fact that if one of the roads, because elsewhere, one of the roads that you would find the speed camera on is the N1. We say what we call it. That is from Tema through the motorway through La Paz. And in a place where we have a problem with our address system, how are you going to? You can take a picture. The camera can take a picture of people who are speeding or violating. The camera can take a still picture and a video.
And how are you going to trace the people who are involved
You see,
in such?
all these things are there. That is how come this project has stalled, this implementation has stalled, because we're looking at ways of getting the people. And this is something that has been incorporated into the implementation. So yes, we know our address system is not good, but one thing that we are trying to do, we've done, is that the DVA has digitized all its data.
Okay.
And very soon, when you are apprehended, the owner of the vehicle has his documents, his particulars at DVLA.
At the DVLA.
Yes, we know most of the times you may buy a vehicle from me and you may not do change of ownership. But when that happens, the onus is on me to produce you, because the onus will come on me to produce the driver.
Yes.
And if I'm not able to produce a driver, then I am charged. So when something like this starts, I'm sure when you buy a car from me, I would insist that the change of ownership is done, because I can't be held liable for something that you would do on the roads.
It's a fantastic idea, but the point is, when does it start? Because people are still dying.
Yes, as I told you, there are procedures to go through, and I'm telling you, we are at the tail end, and that's why I promised you that by the end of the second quarter, we should see this being implemented.
Okay.
But not just these. Apart from that, one of the issues that we have is also breaking down vehicles on our roads. That is also the regulation 102 takes care of that, and that regulation 2 is going to be implemented by that same period.
All in the at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, so I must say this year, one thing that Ghanaians would see is that as a road user, if you don't comply with the road regulations, you'll be found wanting. Because
you'll be found wanting.
Yes.
Well, found wanting doesn't sound threatening to me. And I'm sure it doesn't sound threatening to people who don't drive well.
Yes, but when it starts, it will shape you up.
It will shape you up.
Because I heard you drive on the motorway a lot, because you use that as an example. Yes. And you know, the motorway like this, the speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour. I don't know the speed at which you drive on it, but the speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
And you realize that a lot of people go above that. Right. I know an average of 120 kilometers per hour on that motorway. Right. That's what people do. When these these regulations are implemented, when you do that on the motorway, you will be charged.
I see.
And I'm sure when you are charged once, you would start.
Are you considering doing things? I mean, like punishing people through their licenses? So elsewhere, say in the UK, for instance, you have points taken off your driver's license, which means, and when it happens after a number of times, you won't be allowed to drive anymore for I think about a number of years. Okay,
we are going to be governed by the road traffic regulations.
Okay.
You see, these things we are talking about, if it should be in law. If it is not in law, you cannot do that.
You cannot do it.
So as of now, we are going to implement the Road Traffic Regulations 2012. I have it here. So all these regulations I'm talking about, you find it in here.
Okay.
And then what it says is what we are going to do.
Okay. So at the end of the second quarter, you say we should hold you accountable and expect that there are cameras on our roads that are regulating the way we drive. Yes. Expect that there are policemen on the roads that are giving you giving you tickets or taking money directly?
No, they won't take money.
They'll give you a ticket
and then you go at an appropriate place. And
where is the appropriate place?
It's not just one place. You can even use mobile money. From the system we are building,
you can who are you paying to?
No, there will be. You see, it's not like you are paying to someone. It's going to the government. That's where it's going to.
Which? I mean, there's so many avenues to pay to the government.
Yes.
Where?
The avenues we are using.
Is it coming to the Road Safety Commission?
No, if you look at the law states where these monies go to.
Where is it going to?
When you pick the spot fine, it is going to the consolidated fund.
I see. So you pay and it goes directly, or the police Are you sure there won't be a way for negotiation between people and the police with this spot fine thing?
You see, that we are using technology. So even before you are arrested, the policeman approaches you. Whatever offense, while he is approaching you, have been registered in a database. Because as per the camera, let's say you were doing 100 kilometers per hour within a 50 kilometer per hour zone. The camera picks you up.
And it records
it. And it's gone to the database. So the policeman is only coming to issue you the ticket so that you go and pay.
I see.
So when you negotiate with the police and then you give, let's say you negotiate, you give me something. So because of that, I don't record it. I let you go.
Both you and the police will be in trouble?
You hold on. I let you go. Now in the database, we have that offense. And the offense, the system is such that it tracks offenses. Okay. So as soon as you pay, it records there that, okay, this offense has been catered off, so it writes it off, it cancels it.
Okay.
So when you haven't paid, it still blinks. You understand? So as soon as you go into the database, you find all the offenses that have not been paid for. And that is where we come after you. That's why I was saying that we go after the vehicle owner, because we assume that whoever was driving the vehicle at that time had the permission of the vehicle owner.
I see. What's the success level do you envisage for this project? Because we live in a very different system. This system sounds very similar to what happens in the UK, but we know that the circumstances in both countries are different.
Yes.
What's the level of success you expect of this?
Realistically, yes, what the commission and its stakeholders have done is that we've picked these regulations as projects. So we are running it like a project. So
like a pilot.
No. Like a project.
Okay.
What I mean by a project is, you see, you want to achieve an aim. So you build it in a project form.
Okay.
We have the initiative stage, and it goes up to completion. So that is, we pick them like a project, and we are going to follow them till the end. That is why it has kept long, because we want to iron out all the nitty-gritties, because I can't, this project, when it comes and it fails, implementation of the regulation will be very difficult.
Okay.
So it shouldn't fail. So we don't have room for failure.
I see. Okay. Well, it sounds very interesting to me, and I can't wait. I really can't wait for the end of the second quarter, you say,
yes,
where you roll out these initiatives. We'll say a very big thank you to you for coming.
And I hope you will never be issued a ticket.
I won't be issued a ticket. I will try and stay in 100. Although 120 sounds exciting sometimes. Okay. So, but you have to really keep yourself safe on the road. I mean, it's your life, and a lot of people, I'm sure, depend on you. When you're driving, keep that in mind. You keep yourself safe. It will be a needless death if you're in a hurry to get to a destination, and at the end of the day, you don't get there at all. It won't help. Okay. I've been in the studio with Henry Asumeni. Henry Asumeni is project coordinator from the Road Safety Commission, telling us about the plans. The end of second quarter, he said, we're going to have a situation in Ghana where you'll be issued ticket for violating road regulations, and where you'll be paying sport fines, etc. We look forward to that. Thank you very much once again for coming.